for waiting for the rest of the end of your day to join us for drinks. To talk about RCS. Don't forget, we are going to have some kava out there to celebrate how much we love RCS. And super excited to talk about RCS today because Sinch, we feel that RCS is going to be a huge game changer for businesses transforming from SMS into the RCS space. It's almost like a SMS 2.0. It's going to be the new de facto messaging communications channel. Enough about that right now. Let me talk about Sinch. Hi, my name is Lodema Steinbach. I'm the commercial messaging owner for the messaging product in North America and our carrier relationships here at Sinch. I'm almost positive most of you in here knows what Sinch is, but we are a cloud communications company. We sell SMS, MMS, RCS services, all messaging channels actually, voice services and email services, just to mention a few. We have about 175,000 customers globally. We have 800 billion impressions across our services. So needless to say, I think we're a pretty substantial company in this place. And again, we're super happy to talk about RCS today. We're talking with Miriam, who's our resident RCS expert. We have someone from Google here talking about what Google's doing with RCS and how they're supporting us. And then we have a customer from our customer. Gosh, I was about to say a different customer name. Apologies about that. To talk about what he's doing with RCS. So enough about me. We're going to do some quick introductions. And Miriam, why don't you take it away?
Sure. Hi. My name is Miriam Liszewski. I'm the RCS Commercial Product Manager at Sinch. Lo did a great job of explaining why we're excited about RCS, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Josh.
Hey, folks. My name is Josh Pepper. I'm from Google, and I'm the head of product for RCS for Business, as well as head of spam and abuse protection for both the business and the consumer side of the house on Google Messages.
Thank you.
Hey, hi, my name is Laksh. I am the co-founder for a fintech called Wecredit. We basically serve the Indian market. We are an aggregator in the space of unsecured loans. And of course, a customer for Sinch using their RCS services.
Thank you. Miriam's going to kick it off and go through some slides for us and talk about what all this hype is around RCS.
So for those of you in the room that don't know what RCS is, just a kind of quick little refresher. So one of the ways that GSMA describes it is exactly this. So the RCS offers eye-catching functions of apps with the unbeatable reach of SMS. What this means is that it's in your native inbox. You're not downloading an app, but you have a lot of the rich features that are associated normally with apps. You have carrots, you have carousels. And all those other rich features. So you can see some of them here. All the messages come from a branded and verified sender. You have improved analysis over standard messaging. You have delivery receipts, you have read receipts, and as someone is navigating through the experience, you also know what they're doing. You can get that reports back. I already mentioned it's in your native inbox, and you have rich media. And you have suggestion chips. So instead of making people type in what they want to say, they can tap a yes, they can tap a no, whatever that chip says to engage in a conversation, as well as click on links and voice and go to maps, and you can have rich media. You can have images and carousels and videos.
Thank
Josh,
you.
do you want to talk a little about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a couple more slides here.
I'll let you draw.
Oh. All right. And before I start, I just want you guys to know in the audience that I tried as hard as I can to get permission to allow you folks to be drinking during this talk. I failed miserably.
Hey,
I'm so sorry. So you're gonna still have to wait to drink till afterwards. So all right. So let's talk about it. So as of a little bit more than 12 months ago, there were more than 1 billion active users on RCS. That was, at that time, solely through Google Messages. And since then, for those of you who know, we've brought on the iPhone. So this is a cross-platform service. So now it's these messages are able to be delivered to both iPhones and Android devices. And that number that says 1+, I'll add many more pluses to that as it is today. But the only reason that we're able to succeed here is through the partnerships that we form with folks like Sinch who are on stage today, and through carrier partnerships all around the world. And as every month marches on, we form more carrier relationships and we increase the global reach of RCS. And over the past 18 months, paid business messaging traffic on RCS has increased 30x. Yes, we did not make a mistake in the slide. Over the past 18 months, paid business messaging traffic on RCS has increased 30x. We double-checked this, believe it or not.
Nice.
And, you know, honestly, the breadth of demand for this product has taken even us aback. At Google, we're very, very excited when we get an opportunity to build anything planet scale. We've built other planet scale messaging businesses before, for instance, Gmail. And in fact, on our team, we're leveraging resources that have worked on the Gmail team before. And we're unbelievably excited to build this one. And I think some of the bets that probably some people in the room have taken over the years are now starting to pay off a little bit.
I was going to say, I think you made a lot of people really happy and relieved in this room.
Yes. It is here, it is real, and all of your blood, sweat, and tears over the years have paid off. And this is coming not just from one market, but from the globe. In various countries and markets around the world, I'll point out Brazil that over the past 18 months has grown 97x in terms of traffic. And every time, you know, we prepped to come and have a bunch of discussions with partners, with potential customers, with mobile operators, and I just got to tell you, every slide that we create, we wanted to get ready a couple weeks ahead of time. We went back and revisited the slides last week. We've got to update the numbers again. So, you know, this thing is growing faster than I think we could have possibly imagined. And it's building this, like I said, at planet scale is unbelievably exciting.
Thank you. Thanks for that. I'm going to move over to Laksh to talk about Wecredit. Please tell us about your business. What is Wecredit? Excuse me, it's late for me as well. Apologies. Wecredit, and what has inspired you to build this platform?
So, Wecredit is basically a marketplace for unsecured loans. We basically operate in the India market and consider it like an Uber, where we get customers on our platform. We have a list of banks and NBFCs listed with us, and we try to find the best bank or NBFC for every customer, whoever comes on our platform. So we've been operational for the past 1.5, 2 years, and we've since then somewhere disbursed around 700, 800 crores in the Indian landscape. And so the inspiration for Wecredit comes, okay, so just a fact, the Indian population credit card penetration is just 5%. Do you know what's that for any European nation? It's around 60%. The financial inclusion and financial literacy landscape in India right now is very poor, I would say. And it requires a lot of nudging from aggregators like us to point the customer in the right direction. And that is where we've been trying to get the customer an offer where he can really get a good amount or a good interest rate and not get into a loan shark sort of situation. He doesn't get cheated on by people in the market. And the best part is we try to not target the top 1 percentile. So the top 1 percentile annual income average India population would be around 25, 30 lakhs a year. But the bottom 90% is 25,000 a year. That's where we want to operate. And the middle 40%, that is roughly 40 crore Indian people, whose average income for a year is around 2.5 lakhs. We want them to know that, okay, banks might not be there for you, but we definitely have products for you. So we're trying to get them the right offer through the right NBFCs, and yeah, not make them lead to a loan shark sort of situation. So that's where we come in. And that's how we started using RCS as one of the channels for communication as well.
Nice. Can you go ahead and walk us through some of these use cases?
Cool. So basically, we just went through 3 basic use cases right now. And the first one is, of course, a promotional message where whenever our customer comes to a platform, we try to send him the best offer that we have identified for him. So that is the first level of communication we have done. The second bigger aspect is the customer engagement part, okay? So now what happens is a lot of customers drop off in between journeys, right? They find it tough to upload bank statements, the literacy around bank statements and all of these issues come across, and that's where we keep sending them these messages telling them, okay, if you have any issues, just tell us that you have an issue and we'll call you back. Like we have a simple callback button in the RCS message. They click the button and somebody from our team calls them back in 3 minutes, under 3 minutes. Similarly, whenever the customer completes his life cycle, we send him a feedback message. Whenever he gets lost somewhere in the journey, we send him a message to complete the journey. And also EMI reminders. So one big use case was also the customers, so that they don't forget they have an EMI coming. We also try to send them reminders every now and then that, oh, you have an EMI pending. If you want to pay it early, here's the link. If not, it's just a friendly reminder. You can pay it on the day the EMI date is due. And this has really helped us grow like our in-funnel customer journey. And it's made it very omni-channel. It's not just RCS though. We also use other channels like WhatsApp, SMS, and emails. But yeah, RCS is one which is, in the last 2 months, we've just scaled to what, 20 million, 30 million RCSs already. And it's scaling like huge.
Yeah.
So,
In some cases, it is smarter to use WhatsApp at this point,
yeah,
depending on where your audience is, and also to have an SMS fallback to ensure that you actually can get that message delivered to
correct. Yep,
yeah.
that's there.
I'll just chime in here before we move forward and just say, I heart the Indian market. It's amazing. I was in Delhi in November talking to a bunch of customers and partners there, and really just the embrace of conversational commerce. We've talked to banks, real estate, retail, government, transit. I can't even remember all of the different use cases here, but if you're in the room today and you believe that your job has to do with conversational messaging and you haven't been to India, you are missing out and you need to go. So please call him.
I love to host anyone.
So, Miriam, let's move on to this next question. Do you see this as typical use cases in the RCS space for businesses?
Yeah, I think one of the cool things about RCS is you can do so much with it. So we see a lot of customers who start with fairly simple messages. They start by converting their existing SMS over, and that works really well. You have improved security with the sender verification, the branding, you have delivery receipts, and so you start to see it working. And then once you do that, you start to move on to more advanced use cases. And it's a gradual process, but we do. We have some stats up on the screen here that show how some of these work. We do a lot of marketing campaigns, so we're able to sort of see how well the RCS messages are driving over to the website, are encouraging purchases. We have 3 to 7 times higher CTR for some of these experiences compared to an SMS message or a richer SMS message. We see a lot of transactional messages. I love the fact that Laksh is doing the follow-ups and continuing the journey there. You do lose a lot of people in shopping journeys. You do lose a lot of people along the way. And being able to follow up with that rich experience right in the chat, whether you're directing them to go to a call or whether you are able to use smart messaging and conversational and continue within that experience. Like Josh said, India is really hot. We've got a lot of banking and other really cool stuff happening right now. And it's because it works. It's because we've got these great stats behind it. And really there's not kind of anything you want to do in RCS you can because you've got so many features. You've got so much functionality.
You made the transition from WhatsApp in a lot of these markets. Can you talk to us? You've been using RCS a few months now, correct? Can you talk to us why you decided to test the waters with RCS?
That's a good question. I'll just quickly walk you through on how I personally look at any communication channel for us in terms of marketing. These are basically 4 or 5 factors that we look at. The first is, of course, attraction or visual appeal. The second is better analytics. The third is it should be cost effective. The fourth one is that it should have a good adoption across the whole the whole ecosystem. And finally, it should be dynamic. By dynamic, I mean it should support a two-way conversation. It should support multiple people being able to talk to the other side and know what's going on exactly. So if I just put a matrix of this for all 5-6 channels that we currently use, SMS, RCS, WhatsApp, email, voice calls, all these. So WhatsApp is great at visual appeal, but it lacks in cost. It's 7 to 8x expensive right now for us. On the other hand, SMS lacks the visual appeal, but it has great cost effectiveness. RCS comes at a place which is in the middle of both. It has a good visual appeal. It definitely has better tracking. It is dynamic. The one thing that I currentently feel RCS, and maybe Josh, you can answer that better, is the adoption that we see throughout the RCS channel. I think a year back it was around what, 12-15%, and now we've already seen 35-40% adoption across the Indian market, at least for our users. I'm sure it might be higher in the other segments also. But it has, it fits perfectly in that sweet spot between SMS and WhatsApp for us in terms of scaling the channel as well as using it everywhere else. So that's why we made the shift from using we were doing 50 million WhatsApps a month, and then we've stopped, we're trying to lower it down to RCS and then using it as a fallback to RCS only. So that's how we're trying to shift. But again, we're gradually looking at higher adoptions eventually. So maybe Josh, you can highlight that better.
Yeah, I mean, just to directly respond to that, because I think it's a really good point, is I think folks who have been in the industry for a while have been hearing about RCS for a long time. And so they think, gosh, I've heard this before, et cetera, et cetera. But RCS as it exists in its current incarnation, you might as well just call it by a different name, right? And it's not a new iteration. It is a step change from what it used to be. And I'll just admit, a major part of that is because you can now reach both iPhones and Androids, right? And that is, and given the fact that, we're now working in tandem with mobile operators, with other smartphone providers, through the GSMA to make this a standards-based tool, in the current strategy with the current deployment of RCS as it is, it's a product that's essentially 12 months old, right? And so you expect with a product that's 12 months old that there's going to be a little bit more of adoption happening, right? And it's happening at a breathtaking rate. So that, of all of the things that you listed, I'm happy to say is going to get fixed, right? So
and we do see that. And there are markets, especially where Apple has launched in Europe and other places, where we are seeing 70+% reach. It does depend, again, you mentioned it, different brands have different numbers, but yeah, there are multiple markets where we're seeing that, and certainly carriers where we're seeing
Yeah, and I'll have to wave my hands here a little bit, but we're now, we've got several markets where our reach exceeds WhatsApp significantly. So, yeah, it's happening.
So it goes back to use WhatsApp in the markets that make sense for now, and then we'll see what happens when RCS takes off in those markets. So I wanted to, Josh, I'm super happy you're on this panel because I want to talk about the importance of fraud and consumer protections. So a question I have for you is, what practices does Google have in place for consumer protection? And how do you continue to monitor and adapt as fraudsters get smarter and smarter, which we see this in SMS everywhere?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the phrases that I use with my team is reach is life, spam is death. And, you know, it really succinctly sums up what we need in a messaging solution, right? You need to reach everybody and it can't be spammy, right? Luckily for me, I get to wear both hats of trying to grow, you know, a planet scale messaging business, as well as trying to keep it safe.
I mean, this happens all the time, though. It's a bit the ROI on spam filters is really tough when you're trying to make money on that spam.
Absolutely.
Or not money on the spam,
Absolutely.
but money on
Yeah.
sending messages.
Yeah. And if you recall the first slide that we put up in the little Google section there, all of the logos that were spread throughout the world, those were all mobile operator logos. And the key role of the operators, the key role of the carriers here is to ensure that this is a verified service, right? So when users see that experience that this has been verified, the carriers are doing that verification, right? The carriers who have a tremendous amount of trust around the world are ensuring that the businesses are who they claim to be, and that the type of content that they are delivering to end users is the type of content that they say they're going to deliver, right? So that's first, right, is that this is a verified service, and we're working with a massive ecosystem to ensure that on the way in, the businesses are verified. Second, so that's, you know, there's a classic way of talking about abuse and spam and abuse protection. We call it ABC, actor, behavior, content. So who's the actor? How are they behaving? And what content are they attempting to deliver? So the A in actor, that's first. We get that verified. On the B and the C side, the behavior and the content, we have an enormous investment, part of which comes from some of, like I said before, the teams that have come over that have built the spam protections in Gmail. That at Google, we want to make sure that this becomes and remains the safest possible channel for business and consumers to interact on. So we are constantly monitoring both the behavior and the content that is flowing from a business to a consumer to ensure that the businesses are abiding by the local regulatory policies in their given market and by the terms and conditions that they agreed to. And that's both proactive and reactive, right? Proactive in the sense that we're constantly building new tools to ensure that we can monitor, and reactive in the sense that, yes, if you are in an anti-fraud position, you're going to have to respond to new, very clever tricks that fraudsters use, and so we always have to be ready to respond to those.
And I would say it's not just consumer protections, but we need businesses to adopt this channel, and then businesses need to know it's a safe and secure channel and a trusted channel where more consumers will adopt it and grow their services, which leads me to my next question for you, Laksh, is what are you doing next, and what are your plans to expand your messaging program with RCS? And I assume it's the same for you, that it needs to be a safe and secure channel so you can continue to grow it and expand it to your next use case.
Yeah, of course. I think like 2-3 months back when we really started RCS, I was discussing with somebody at Sinch only that how do I make it, like we started with a very one single-handed approach where we were just sending out the message, we were getting a reply, and then we were sending out a default sort of message back to the customer. And last, I think 15-20 days, we've been really working hard on trying to make it more conversational, where we are trying to really integrate our LLM, so we've trained the LLM to solve these problems in real time for our customers. So the next thing for us is building this channel conversational and not just limiting it to our chatbot, but also to our customer support teams, our loan experts, if any, and even for that matter, if just somebody texts our business saying, hi, I need help, I'm looking for a loan, we should be there. We should be there answering them, maybe attending their calls, and that's the next thing for me that I'm looking at, of course, and of course, and an overall omni-channel experience deliverance is also on my cards, but primarily, mostly it will be making this more conversational for both us, customers, and me as a business.
On the Google side, to help support Wecredit, what's next for Google?
That's a good question.
Yeah. All right. Let's do a roadmap review, Laksh. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, we think of our investments in RCS as kind of having 4 different areas. I very rarely remember all 4. So, all right, let's see if I can get through them all, right? Number 1 is reach, right? So we are always trying to expand the reach in terms of both the markets, the individual markets that RCS is available in, but in a given market, expanding the number of phones that is on. And that is going to be a constant area of investment. Number 2, what we just talked about, protections. Spam and abuse protection. So actually one thing that is currently shipping is the ability for users to unsubscribe and do that directly within the experience itself. Previously, block and report was really the only option. It was the first option, right? And from a percentage standpoint, actually significantly more people simply opt out or simply unsubscribe than block and report, and we want to recognize that. So users are going to get an option to just send a message back to the business to unsubscribe, and then as a secondary option, obviously give them the ability to block and report. And then on the experiences side, I would say there's 2 big things. One is rolling out right now, in fact, in India right now, and all around the world, is dual SIM. So the ability to support dual SIM conversations, both on the consumer side of the house, RCS P2P, as well as on the A2P P2A side of the house, RCS for Business, supporting dual SIM, which is massive, which also helps reach, but it helps with the consumer experience as well. And then another big thing is WebView, which is enormous. So that enables businesses to leverage their existing mobile assets that they've already invested in terms of doing product checkout or KYC or whatever happens in a browser, right? And then when the browser closes, you go straight back into the conversation. So you haven't lost the customer out to some browser somewhere, you're still in the conversation. And then, of course, Google plays a role in this ecosystem as enabling partners and carriers everywhere. And so we're also investing heavily in the ability for partners like Sinch to be able to properly manage agent approvals and get quick verification, quick onboarding, I should say, to get those agents on board as fast as possible. And yeah, we want to speed that up quite a bit. We're investing there as well.
Thank you for your transparency.
We are super excited about WebView. We're already seeing, we've already been playing with it. We're seeing some really great conversations with some of our customers around use cases around that. And yeah, it's a good one. It's a lot of excitement.
We're almost out of time. So Miriam, I have one last question to you before we open it up for Q&A.
Where did you get those socks? Was that the question? Sinch socks?
Oh, we have Sinch socks.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know if we have Sinch socks here, but we have got lots of bees. Come get some
yellow
bees.
and blue.
We have a booth. Come visit our Sinch booth. We do demos for RCS twice a day. Two tomorrow. What time are our demos tomorrow, Miriam?
11 and 2.
11 and 2. Come see an RCS demo. We have them in our booth. What verticals can benefit most from RCS?
All of them. Yeah, I mean, really there's not a vertical that,
I'm a plumber.
You're a plumber. Great.
How can I benefit from RCS?
No, so I think there are really, pretty much every vertical out there can benefit from RCS. Where we see a lot of excitement because of the already improved security just from verification is in the financial sector or is in the sectors where knowing that sender is not only nice to have for branding reasons, but also nice to have because there is this history of spam, there's this history of smishing in the SMS space, and so knowing that the message I've really gotten is actually from my bank or is actually from who it says it is really key. So we see a lot of interest in those, even before you get to some of the rich use cases. Those are super cool. Retail is great. There's just so much you can do in the retail space. Retailers touch us in a lot of ways every day. So, they send out coupon codes to get me to buy something. When I've got something left in my shopping cart, they send out reminders for me to go back to it. I shop with them, I pay bills, and especially with WebView now, it's much easier to actually have that whole experience within the chat itself. For things like retail, it's great. Things like plumbers and other people like that, there's some really cool use cases you can do around scheduling and around appointment reminders. You can do a lot of things with, sending notifications. As a woman, I like to know who's going to be coming to my house to fix something. So we see some cool use cases where you can get the picture of the person who's coming and a little bit of information about them before they come to the house. So I can go out. I can kind of list pretty much any vertical out there.
I've heard it.
I can. Yeah.
You're not going to be able to stump Miriam on this. If you don't follow Miriam on LinkedIn, you should. I've seen people trying to challenge her with find a different use case for a particular vertical. She's unstumpable. You can try it.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
That's just asking for trouble. That's going to get me stumped.
Well, we are out of time, but I would like to offer any questions if anyone has any.
I had to be between you and drinks. Question. WebView and spam mitigation. Is there a pathway where WebView use can actually reduce phishing, spam, like shorten URLs and things like that?
Tell me more. It sounds like a great idea and that I'm underselling WebView. How could we do that?
Well, the number one phishing scam is trying to get you a URL to get you off channel, right? And if you remove the reason to go off channel for brands to just say you stay in and you can rely, like if you're a Bank of America, you can rely on the security of your web browser. And then everyone else gets shut down because you're not allowed to have shortened URLs in your...
Yeah, I think there's two aspects to that, which is one is exactly what you're talking about. You're able to leverage a secure channel that is end-to-end encrypted in order to do that. I think the second thing is, as part of our existing abuse protections, we're already using a Google scale malicious link detector within RCS, which prevents known malicious links from getting sent out. So, advantage there.
I think to your point also, one thing that we're seeing is in SMS today, because it is only 160 characters, you have to use short URLs. So even if it's a legitimate business, a lot of times it could kind of look a bit spammy because it's not the URL you associate with the brand. So by being able to either send more text or being able to put that URL behind a button, it is more trusted. So for the legitimate experiences, it also reassures you that that's real. And then when you do get those, weird, sketchy URLs, you're less inclined to click on it because it's not the cool RCS safer experience.
Any more?
Question to John. John Wahid Adam, I'm from iTouch. We're based in South Africa. The African continent is very much our focus. And RCS, as you know, is taking off in South Africa now. We were the first to launch it. And what we kind of seeing along, and I'm saying this is not necessarily exclusive to Africa, but not many MNOs have embraced RCS as a channel that they're now putting their weight behind. So as you know, you have Telkom in South Africa. The others haven't yet quite got on board, even though we can deliver over them. And that seems to be a problem, maybe not only to the African environment. What's the delay there? Why are they so hesitant?
Yeah, well, to quote an African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And as we roll out RCS throughout the world, we do form these partnerships with carriers, and it's critical for us to do that, right? And we have to do that in a sequenced and methodical way, right? We can't roll out to every carrier in the world simultaneously, although I would love to have a giant piggy bank that I could just shake and have unlimited people on this. But I'll just say, I hope to get there eventually to make sure that we get all the carriers on board in every market, and that's South Africa included. But I would just say we're rolling out sequentially right now. And we have to kind of take this a market by a time. That map with all the logos on there, those logos are increasing every single quarter. We'll get there.
Well, we're waiting. I look forward to it.
Thank you. I will say we are very much out of time, and we're blocking you from some
We have one more
drinks out
question.
there. Do we have one
One
more?
more question, and I see that Robert already did take Josh's advice.
Should I go? Okay. Another question for Josh, so you're going to be thrilled right now. Question.
Love it.
We've been talking about A2P and business-initiated communications. What about P2A or user-initiated communications?
Yeah, amen. Great. P to A.
Great question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is enormous potential in user-initiated conversation, and I think that we've only begun to scratch the surface of where Google can assist there. Google is the world's best discovery engine, right? It's the best discovery engine for businesses. It's a discovery engine for products. It's the best discovery engine for shopping, right? And we're very excited about the possibility and the future where users will begin their journey there and end up in conversations with businesses, the right businesses, whether they're top of funnel, bottom of funnel, middle of the funnel, whatever it is. We're working on it. So I'm not going to be giving any new product announcements in the, stand in between you and drinks anymore. But that's a very exciting future for this product.
Yeah, and we're already supporting, because you guys support it, the click to chat. So you can generate a URL, a QR code, and open up an RCS agent that way. And that's really cool. We're enjoying using that. I got a lot of cheers from our sales team when I told them they could finally do it.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you to the panel here. I appreciate it, and thanks for hanging out with us.